Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. This show is all about life transformations and our journey from where we were to why we are doing what we are doing today. We will discuss the hiccups, the roller coasters, and the blood, sweat, and tears that has been poured out while discovering our purpose. It is all about our transformations. Here is your host, Sean Douglas.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to another episode of Life Transformation Radio. I'm your host, Master Resilience Implementer, TEDx speaker, business positioning strategist, and international best-selling author, Sean Douglas. This show is currently heard in over 90 countries. So whether it's your first time joining us or you've been listening to us for some time, I want to thank you to those who are listening from around the world. Life Transformation Radio is all about our transformation. Here is where we tell the stories of why we're doing what we're doing, highlighting that transformational moment that changed our lives and how we use it to then transform others and elevate their lives as well. You can listen to us live right here on the Blog Talk Radio Network, Tuesday through Friday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can also join our Facebook group at Life Transformation Radio Community and never miss an episode by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform. Life Transformation Radio can be heard on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Player FM, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, Pandora, everywhere podcasts are available. You can subscribe to Life Transformation Radio. And while you're there, leave us a rating and review to let us know what you think of the show. You can also search us on YouTube at Life Transformation Radio and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Join us every Tuesday through Friday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time by going to blogtalkradio.com/Life Transformation Radio. On the show, my guests are entrepreneurs, speakers, business owners, coaches, podcasters, authors, amazing people who are impacting everyone around them. My guest today has done exactly that. If you have any questions for any of the guests that I bring on the show during our live broadcast, go ahead and give us a call at 657-383-1109. Again, the number is 657-383-1109. And with that, please help me welcome to the show my amazing guest for today, which I know you all will thoroughly enjoy, Lillian Zeltser. Lillian, welcome to Life Transformation Radio.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you for having me on your beautiful program. Hello from Australia, from summer.
From the summer. Yeah, it's really cold here in the U.S. right now. It's a little cold.
Yes, that's why I made the accent on summer. It is blue sky and sunshine, and it's amazing weather for Valentine's Day.
Oh, that's amazing. You know, my dream is to eventually go to Australia, and I really don't care where. I mean, Sydney sounds like a great place to start. But, yeah, I'd love to go to Australia. I'd love to speak in Australia. I think it's a beautiful place.
Yes, absolutely. I'm in love with Australia. I originally come from Moscow, from Russia, but I live in Australia for the last 40 plus years and can't think of any better country to be. Well, occasionally I come to the United States, which is amazing,
sure,
but
sure.
It would not swap.
Right. Beautiful weather, beautiful place to be. So, yeah, I'd love to visit there one day. So the title of this episode is To Health, Long Life, and Pleasures with Aphrodisiacs expert Lilian Zeltser. She is an author, a speaker, presenter, and pioneer in teachings about aphrodisiacs and their impact on sexuality, overall health, behavior, decision-making processes, self-esteem, and success in business, relationships, beauty, happiness, and career. Over 30 years ago, she accidentally stumbled on an old love potion recipe, which sparked her interest in aphrodisiacs. Together with her husband, a medical doctor, she researched, experimented, and hunted for aphrodisiacs around the world. In Aphrodisiac Adventures, Lillian shares some important discoveries of ancient aphrodisiacs, personal experiences, amazing legends, and humorous stories, and many time-tested aphrodisiac recipes, which had been known to natives for hundreds of years and now supported by science and statistics. Lillian helps people to discover the power of aphrodisiacs and believes that natural aphrodisiacs are the fuel for our sexuality, which can help people restore, balance, and maintain their physical, emotional, and mental health. Her message to health, long life, and pleasures, and stories about aphrodisiacs adventures offer excellent aphrodisiac recipes and are seasoned with humor, legends, tradition, and real-world experience. You can click on the links below in the show notes. Website, LinkedIn, and Facebook is right there. Click on those links and send her a friend request on your favorite social media platform. Send her a message and let her know that you listened to this episode of Life Transformation Radio. Lillian, the first question I have to ask, and I believe is the most important question here, why? Why do you do what you do?
Because it is too valuable to keep it for myself. I decided that it's worth to spread the news that aphrodisiacs exist, they work, and they are so important for every single person because aphrodisiacs are not your sexual pleasure enhancements. They are not Viagra. They are the fuel of the sexuality, of your sexual energy, which impacts your decision-making processes, your success in life, your relationships, your beauty, happiness, career, everything you touch, because we are sexual creatures. We all remember old saying, live and procreate. It's our purpose on this earth to procreate. And in return, we get all this beautiful pleasure of motherhood, fatherhood, relationships, love, sex, and other things. So aphrodisiacs is the fuel of sexual energy, which is important to know. And they don't, we are not talking here about your strawberry, champagne, chocolate, or oysters. We are talking about real stuff, things that actually can make impact on your body system and tell it to balance, either elevate or diminish a level of sexual energy to suit your temperament or to suit your situation or your health condition.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, when I think of aphrodisiacs, I think of a smell or a taste or something that is pleasurable. It could be anything, right? But when I think about the aphrodisiac, that's just immediately what I think of. And so I'd like to dive in because some people might not exactly understand what the aphrodisiac is, or how would I know if I was in that moment? How would I know if I came across one? So I'd love to dive in and really find out, what an aphrodisiac is.
Well, you are absolutely right, Sean. Aphrodisiacs are not just foods. There are a lot of things that influence our senses. Visual, it could be something that you've seen or you see. Aromas, our taste buds produce certain changes in our bodies and send messages to our brain to either start producing saliva or endorphins. Our sense of touch our ears, they pick up sounds that make us excited, or opposite, they can depress us. The power of aphrodisiacs is everywhere. We are bombarded from every side with messages. And it's important that we select those that we would like to help us to achieve certain things. Say, if you would like to elevate your mood, there are certain aphrodisiacs, and they are legal stimulants. We are not talking about narcotics or something that is illegal. Legal things, herbal concoctions, grass and roots and berries and fruit and other stuff that has elements that synthesized in those plants that give you that lift. Before you go for important meeting, or your exam, or even a date, you would like to see yourself being in elevated mood with clarity in your mind. And that's when you need that knowledge of aphrodisiacs. On the other hand, you can actually, with knowledge of aphrodisiacs, you can weave them into your everyday life. And even when you have breakfast, you can already charge yourself certain way and support your sexuality, your sexual energy. Why? Well, when you look at the crowd, it's so easy to see people who have high level of sexual energy. They normally have shiny eyes, charisma, they attract a lot of people, friends. They are normally very successful in everything they start doing, relationships, career, in their businesses. So sexual energy can't be discounted. It is part of us, big part of us. In fact, sexual energy, it's you. And why not support it? And that's what I do. I teach people how to use aphrodisiacs and what they are. Because our bodies are all different. We're all different. That's why there's not one particular aphrodisiac that will be suitable for every single person. Thus, you need to learn aphrodisiacs and apply to your needs.
So, I mean, we're not talking about essential oils and, like people wear them around their neck. One's for stress, one's for this, one's for this. That's not what we're talking about, right?
Whatever works for you. From ancient times, people used aromas. Like in ancient Greece, right. They believed that marjoram has that kind of smell that attracts opposite sex. And young men used to put it behind their ears and rub on their armpits to enhance their body smell. Well, speaking of body smell is a very important part of our aphrodisiacs. It is pheromones that we produce, males and females, that opposite sex picks up. There is a little slit in our nostril, in each nostril, that actually picks up pheromones. It's not your ability to smell, it's ability to pick up pheromones, and that is separate organ to your nose that does that. It is an art, and perfumers around the world actually use that to produce scents that would attract, say, females to males and the other way around. the only thing that doesn't work into their hands, that normally scents for females are chosen by males, and the other way around. So, they don't normally choose correct ones. Male wouldn't choose something that attracts male, right?
Right.
So females get perfumes that normally attract women instead of men. So that's why it's important to know and learn aphrodisiacs and use it correctly. Say Valentine's Day is coming, and you want to surprise your Valentine. Why not to have? Why not to give perfume? But unless you know your Valentine's preferences, and you might choose something that would actually repel her, or the other way around. Say you want to surprise someone who loves chocolate, but unconsciously that person would think about weight gain. And once again, you might give something that wouldn't be ideal Valentine's Day present. You can cook for your Valentine, or you can cook together. And for that, I have amazing recipes, both on the website and also in my new book, Aphrodisiac Adventures, where aphrodisiacs that are easily obtainable in any of your health food shops and herbal stores can be used, which would work definitely, especially if you would be cooking together and talking about a historical figure who used that particular recipe to achieve certain goals in life. It's either to seduce someone, or to start war, or gain riches, or simply enhance sexual pleasures. So there are stories, about starting from Cleopatra and Caesar and Mark Antony, or Josephine, Napoleon, famous ones and not so famous ones. There are interesting legends and stories that can actually enhance your dinner party and can become topic of conversation. It's sassy and sexy. At the same time, it's subtle and leaves room for imagination.
Right on.
Well, there you go.
Wow. Very, very cool.
I love aphrodisiacs because they work. Once upon a time, I was a skeptic. I did not believe in these hocus pocus aphrodisiacs that seduce someone, or there is no magic about it, actually. It's chemistry, it's science, it's something that works on your inner world, on your mental, emotional, or physical state. What can I say? One should try before make decisions. The original reason why I started looking into aphrodisiacs leads us back to 1988, when my husband took me to Paris on one of our wedding anniversaries. In fact, it was our 10th wedding anniversary. That's how old I am, hey. And there, being a bookworm, he went hunting for old books on the left bank of Siena. There are a lot of bookstores, and one of them is Shakespeare and Company. That's where he hid himself for a couple of hours. And while I was just enjoying my coffee and stroll along the river, well, he came out with two books. One was for me. It was Escoffier, a beautiful, beautiful edition of cookery, art of cookery. And for himself, he got Decameron. Decameron is an old 14th century tractate of love stories, erotic love stories. And that was an amazing edition, but was in poor condition. So when we came to hotel, he wanted to fix the book cover that was falling apart. And as he was doing that, like in a movie, believe it or not, the page came out of the book, fell on the carpet. I picked it up, and it was just folded in half, and it was titled Aphrodisiac. And underneath there were 8 different words, which didn't make any sense to me. It was different language. So I showed it to my husband, and to my surprise, he knew what it was. He said, "Oh, well, that's just botanicals. Oh, this one I know. This is adaptogen. This one I know. Okay." And it was 18 botanicals underneath of just title Aphrodisiac. So, well, we put it back into the book and went for lunch. And there he was. My husband is medical doctor. He was fantasizing, saying that, oh, maybe that recipe, love potion recipe, because Aphrodisiac stands probably for something like aphrodisiac dope. Oh, right. Hocus pocus. Well, why don't we make, when we come back to Melbourne, Australia, why don't we make it? And so we laughed at it and we had fun. But when we came back home, he actually started working on it. And after many years hunting for aphrodisiacs at their origin around the world, where they grow in the wild at their highest potency, we got all ingredients, and he actually set up a lab where he experimented with methods of extraction of those bioactive elements from each of the botanicals until he got it right. And in 2004, we had first batch of Aphrodisiac made. Well, and it tasted beautiful, mysterious taste. It's citrusy at the same time. You can pick up notes of chocolate and musk and so on. But the main thing is that it worked. We gave it to all our friends to try and experimented at University of in Switzerland, University of Lausanne, at their neurological center, to see how it works on the brain, on the human brain, and it actually showed that Aphrodisiac, that particular extract, works on pleasure center. It sends messages from pituitary gland to different parts of your body to produce certain elements that elevate or lower sexual energy, a level of sexual energy.
Wow.
Yes, since that time, myself and my husband, and of course my mother, who is, well, tomorrow going to be 94, we use Aphrodisiac every day, like a tablespoon in a glass of coffee, water, whatever, or just as sipping when it's hot weather like today. I probably will have it just on ice. And it actually builds up not only sexual energy, but the immune system, eyesight. I still don't wear glasses. And more than that, if I wanted to produce baby tomorrow and I'm in my 60s, I can do that.
Wow. Now you covered a lot in there. Wow.
Yes, I know so much, and I would like to share. It's amazing world. People don't know. If more people would know about how beautiful to be sexually active till in your late part of your life, well, there would be no wars. People would be kinder to each other. World would be much better place to be. That's my opinion, anyway.
Oh no, I agree.
Yes, whether you use betel nut or zaluf, which grows on Mount Hermon in Israel and Syria or Lebanon, or if you use wormwood from French Alps, kava in Hawaii, or deer velvet in Japan, or there are thousands I can talk about, starting from poisons that are in mild dosages, can produce aphrodisiac effects, finishing with foods and delicious things from different countries, which I tried, which are based on recipes that were in families of native people for hundreds of years.
That's awesome.
It doesn't matter what you use as long as it works for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. The theme of the show is about transformation, right? Life transformation. So for you, what was a transformational experience that changed you and put you on the path to what you're doing today?
My very first trip, when we came to Australia and we couldn't find any of the ingredients that were on that recipe that we found, we decided that we should go to countries where they originate from. And our very first trip was to China, where I found, to my surprise, that aphrodisiacs was something that people used, and there were many. And I tried, and I actually experienced elevation. Some was immediate, and some just was gradual. But I could see that it exists. That was mind-changing exercise that changed my life. From then onwards, every single holiday. Well, I'm married and I have two beautiful daughters and now granddaughters. And, well, I was busy also working as a professional. I graduated from conservatorium, so I am a musician and I ran music schools and other businesses in my life. So I was busy, of course, with my family and businesses, and couldn't go every day, but every holiday for the last 35 plus years was spent in hunt of aphrodisiacs. We visited over 180 countries, and it was purpose-driven holidays, which we enjoyed. Yes, of course, the scenery and culture, but mainly it is people's attitude to sexuality and how they use aphrodisiacs to enhance that. So it was life-changing experience. I hope I answered your question, Sean. Hello? I think I lost you.
Hey, so I'm very fascinated by how people get their start. I'm very fascinated by how people get into what they're doing and how they've elevated the world around them once they unlock a passion. Because this may not have been a passion for you at first, or maybe it was like, what is this thing? And then it was like, I'm interested. Okay, now I'm in it. I've bought into this thing. This is amazing. So I'm always fascinated to hear people's their journey through it. You know, you being in it for 30 years ago, accidentally stumbling on an old love potion recipe, which I thought was amazing, because we see these movies, we see these cartoons, you got these potions and different things, and it's supposed to make people do certain things and behave a certain way. So how does it impact your sexuality, your behavior, your decision-making process, especially business? A lot of entrepreneurs and business owners listen to my show. How does Aphrodisiacs influence those things?
Aphrodisiacs fuel your sexual energy, which is the most important.
How do they do that?
Through your senses. They get into your system and they tell your own body system to balance either your hormones, or perhaps you don't have enough of one of the elements, say iron or magnesium or whatever. So that particular aphrodisiac will give you the ammunition to produce what your body needs to elevate your sexual energy. And that sexual energy is important to any leader, to any business person, to anyone who wants to succeed in life or relationships. Without that, you would just procrastinate and won't achieve much. It would be a struggle. And those who neglect their sexual energy eventually get that. How many people we know that started beautiful relationship but couldn't keep it? There is a reason for it. And the reason is lack of sexual energy. It doesn't mean that you have sex 10 times a day. It's nothing to do with sex. Sexual energy is you. It is something that makes you move, do things, achieve, enjoy life, and of course, build beautiful business around you and attract people to it.
Right. Very cool.
I wish there were lessons about aphrodisiacs. Aphrodisiacs commonly known as sexual enhancers. It's not correct.
Yes.
Aphrodisiacs are stimulants. They are stimulants of sexual energy. And I wish there were lessons at school to teach young people about sexual energy and what makes tick. Probably a lot of teenagers would benefit from it because when they choose their future career, they are smitten by so many choices, and they are not sure what to do, to follow footsteps of their parents or friends, or to listen to their teachers, or just don't do anything whatsoever and have fun. But with aphrodisiacs, right aphrodisiacs, they would get clarity. They would be able to assess their own abilities and channel their energy towards the goal from early days, not when they already in their mid-30s and they decided, oh, yes, of course, I feel like I should have been a doctor. Well, it can start when you just finish your school and go into college.
Right.
Yes, and a lot of other examples. In older people, it is natural that with age, and it's common knowledge, that our sexuality lowers with age. It's due to a lot of factors that don't depend on you. It's environment. Stress. It's one of the biggest sexual energy killers. Accidents. It could be sicknesses that we get. It could be a lot of things that don't depend on a person, but sexuality is gentle, and if something disbalanced in the body, it can lower, and it will lower with the age unless it's supported by aphrodisiacs.
Love it. So how do you elevate the world around you by the Aphrodisiacs or the things that you teach, how are you currently elevating the world around you?
Well, I've written a book as introduction to I listed few probably 13 different trips which I made, and I only listed 13 or 15 aphrodisiacs. But it is a guide, a little taste of what aphrodisiacs can do. It gives you understanding of aphrodisiacs. So those that are interested, it can be a first point of interaction with aphrodisiacs. From then onwards, people can take it more seriously, arrange time for private one-to-one sessions where I can help to identify correct aphrodisiacs for a person or for a spouse or for a partner. I can help, but I can't do it for you. I can help with advice, but I cannot physically do it. Well, it's not only me, but there are some herbalists and some other professionals that can guide you to that. However, I don't know anyone who would be intimately involved in aphrodisiacs for so long. I actually experienced most of them and can testify if they work or they don't work, and which ones are aphrodisiacs and which ones are anti-aphrodisiacs. There are things that actually lower sexual energy, and sometimes that's what you need. A simple example, say innocent lettuce. It actually lowers sexual energy. Or white water lily bulbs, or even marjoram. Well, there are so many examples that can people can by mistake put into their food or environment that would actually affect them, and they wouldn't know what actually is happening. Going to my website, you would be able to see what I'm doing. Well, I'm also running workshops. It's virtual these days. We all confine about. And nowadays we have virtual dinner parties, aphrodisiac parties. It's a lot of fun because aphrodisiacs, it's not something that people take with straight face. It's a lot of humor, a lot of fun to cook, or to prepare, or to experience. A lot of jokes, and I highly recommend for people to subscribe to my blogs and hear what's new in the world of aphrodisiacs, because science every day proves more and more things that actually work for people. Things that have been known for thousands of years all of a sudden become fashion. Because science proves that it works. So why not to know it? Just subscribe to my blog, and if you don't like it, cancel it at any point.
Awesome. So moving forward, you have the speaking, the teaching, the coaching, the mentoring. You're an author. What's next for 2021?
Oh, Sean, it's something that I kept for many years on the back of my mind. I would like to produce television series.
Oh, cool.
About aphrodisiacs, based on my experience, and something that would give value to viewers, something that would teach them and open their mind to the world of aphrodisiacs, something that can help them to live their life to the fullest.
That'd be amazing. I think a documentary would be super cool.
The only problem is that I am not a producer or know how to make movies. So I'm looking for a company that would be, or a company or a person, someone who would be interested to produce a television series. I can see it in Anthony Bourdain style documentary where aphrodisiac expert interviews local people about aphrodisiacs that had been there for thousands of years and how they work and actually test it. And I actually developed treatment and scripts for about 80 episodes. So if anyone out there interested, please give me a hoy.
Nice. I think a documentary would be awesome. I really do. I think a documentary, like I'd watch that. You know, a documentary on aphrodisiacs or like an 8-part miniseries or something like that, exploring the different aphrodisiacs that are available for, let's say, business or sexuality or relationships or what to do, what not to do. I think that would be very, very cool. I'd watch that.
Oh, thank you. Well, as soon as it's made, I will send you a link. But in the meantime, I am still looking for somebody who would take me to the next level and actually make it happen.
Yeah, I think it would have to be somebody in Australia.
It doesn't have to be. Before COVID, before pandemic, I was actually coming to United States, to your continent, at least once a year for a couple of months, because you have so many aphrodisiacs out there. My God, you are blessed with them, starting from American ginseng, which was a very common plant before it was over-harvested. It was in Carolina and everywhere. Or your amazing Sao palmetto. It is a little palm tree which I found at the Point Canaveral in Florida. It's a little palm tree that has berries look like olives, and when they ripen, they are dark in color. And ancient Incas used to use them to strengthen their fertility. They definitely work.
Very cool.
Or amazing thing I found on the border of Mexico and Texas, not far from Corpus Christi. Well, it's Damiana, a little shrub that has little yellow flowers, and its leaves, if you would just steep them in hot water and drink as a tea, or in alcohol, or in your wine, or your favorite drink, actually elevates your mood, relaxes at the same time, stimulates your sexual energy. They are amazing things. I can tell you 1 million things that would work, but it's once again, someone has to take it seriously and experiment and listen to your body. It's the best judge. Will tell you if it works or not.
Awesome. Well, I'm completely fascinated, and I know nothing about this. However, it sounds like something worth reading into and something worth knowing. So I appreciate the time that you spent educating my audience, because you're the first person I've ever had on the show that talked about anything like this. And I always love new and interesting topics on the show. And I just appreciate you coming on the show and talking about the the aphrodisiacs that are out there and how it impacts your sexuality and health and behavior and success and relationships and things that we wouldn't even think of, things that we wouldn't even really know to be true. You've kind of explained it, so I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on your show, Sean. I look forward to be your guest again at any time.
Awesome. And I think that, so I want to leave the listeners with this. Valentine's Day is coming up. So what would be your advice for a great Valentine's Day evening for a couple, and they're like, aphrodisiac, well, what's that about? So what would be your advice for a couple going into a nice Valentine's Day evening?
Taking into consideration that it is very close now to Valentine's Day, I don't know if you would be able to get Aphrodisiac Adventures book, which definitely would change your world. It would make you wish you found it early in your life. Mm-hmm. But it's never too late. Maybe after the Valentine's Day you can do that. By the way, for the listeners of Sean's show, I would like to offer special gift. If anyone would send us a picture of them having, selfie of themselves with Aphrodisiac Adventures book, they would receive VIP invitation to Aphrodisiac party, virtual, so it's for anyone in any part of United States. So to answer your question, what else you can do? Well, something that wouldn't change your relationship. If it's beginning of relationship, if you just want to hint someone that you're there, and don't give perfume because, as I explained before, it can repel. Don't give chocolates because a person can be not in position to actually eat them. How about a big smile and occasion to go together out to a nice place where you can spend quality time together, a nice stroll along the river with a little gift that can be kept for a long time, say a little token of love statue, or a little jewelry, or little something that doesn't affect our senses. People who
Perfect.
are in relationship already and just want to escalate for that particular night, I would say, would be good to go into trouble of organizing their environment at home. Turn their home into a station of love for that particular day. And that entails music, certain type of music, entails smells, aromas, entails lights, the colors, textures of what you would wear, and of course the food that you would serve. Give it a thought, and I'm sure you would work out. Just write it down one by one and work on all senses. Don't work on one just.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much for that. And this has been incredible. I've learned a ton, and sounds like I got a lot more work to do, a lot more interesting topics to read about as far as aphrodisiacs. But I want to thank you so much for your time and energy that you've given my audience. If anyone is interested in learning anything about this, go get the Aphrodisiac Adventures and just learn about it. Pick up the book and learn about what Lillian Zeltser has to offer. Lillian, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Sean, and to health, long life, and pleasures.
I love it. Life Transformation Radio listeners, an amazing guest impacting the world around her. If any part of our conversation today with Lillian Zeltser resonated with you, please reach out to her. Go to her website, go to Facebook, LinkedIn. All her links are right there in the show notes. Connect with her. Get to know what aphrodisiacs are and how you can use them. And with that, I close the show by saying, live your brand. Find opportunities every day to live out the core values that you hold deep in your heart. And I call this living your brand. So until next episode, live an amazing life.